We're here with Robyn in front of the sound check for her show, which will happen later tonight, so don't mind any noises that may happen in a moment. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Your album's already big in Sweden. You were about to work on the UK, I think.
Yeah.
And then talking about maybe if that went well, you'd be here.
Yeah.
And now you're here.
Yeah.
Because things went really well in the UK,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Is it strange going from place to place and having fans that already exist and have heard material that hasn't even been released there?
It's great.
Okay.
It's great. I mean, I've always had a lot of American fans on my websites, ever since the first album. And it's been cool watching them and other people around the world as well, just keeping track of what I'm doing in Sweden. And it's nice to be able to come here now and meet those people and that audience again.
Yeah. Well, you got one really lucky boost with the Snoop Dogg remix.
Yeah.
How did that work out? How did that come to be?
I got the question, what kind of rappers do you want to collaborate with? They were looking for, stuff for me to do to set up the record, and I said, well, just don't put me together with Akon or any other silly rapper, that you have out, or R&B guy. Put me together with Snoop or Method Man or somebody really cool. And then this guy that I worked with, he knows Snoop's management, and they just had the single out, and they asked me if I could do it, which was like a dream come true, because he's like a person that I've listened to since I was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
And it was good to be able to pimp Snoop back.
I read something where you were in an interview where you were saying you were a little bit nervous to work with someone from Teddy Bears because they made boy music.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Their image is very well thought out. I know they want to look like they don't care, but they do. And it's very ironic, and it's very tough, and it's all based on, the Ramones and everything that they grew up with.
Okay.
And I love that music as well, but I just never
You have safety pins
saw,
in your ears.
Yeah. But I never saw me and Klaus like connecting, you know what I mean, on something so particular that we actually did. We really found each other, and I think what we clicked on was that we thought the same things were funny, you know. That's how Nitsuh and Handle Me and all those songs came about. Even the intro of the record is like our love for hip hop music and some comedy shows and stuff that we have in common. And yeah, it was a good meeting.
There seem to be a lot of songs about walking away from relationships that aren't really working. Does that have to do with walking away from being on a major label as well?
I felt that there was a need for me to deal with that on this album, and sometimes it's really serious and very vulnerable, like in With Every Heartbeat and Be Mine, but sometimes it's also just like in Cobra Style or Konnichiwa Bitches. And
I mean, how big are your plans for the U.S.? I'm just kind of curious. Do you think you'll be taking over MTV and we'll be seeing you everywhere in a few months? Or?
I hope so. I mean, but I'm just really comfortable with this album. It's been with me now for a couple of years, and it's I think done what it's supposed to do already, And it's a little small victory for myself to be able to come back here and do things differently, and that's really like what I'm enjoying.
One thing that surprised me about watching a lot of your press is that you don't seem to disclaim the music that you did in the past or say that major labels are bad.
No.
It seems like, so you were fairly happy with things, just you needed to do it on your own terms?
No, I was definitely very unhappy being signed to a major label.
Okay.
But I think some media try to, or often things become very black and white in press. Not on Pitchfork, I think, but on, and a lot of times it's like the Britney story, and it's like I'm put in like, relation to her, and it's like this could happen. Why didn't you turn out like her? And
I'm
like,
both knew Max Martin.
Yeah, exactly, because we both happen to work with Max Martin. To me, it's just about, my decision of starting my record label was just as much me being ready for it as it was me being tired of the major industry. And I think without those 10 years, I wouldn't have been able to do it this way. I'm definitely not pro major labels. I think they suck.
Okay.
But they are also, the norm, and I have to be able to deal with them. And I think, my music is made for more people than just, an indie crowd in Stockholm. And so I'm trying to, use them and be a part of it without being a sucker.
Okay. And the music you made before is still stuff that you're proud of, right? You still play
Definitely.
Show Me Love?
Yeah, I still play Show Me Love. I will play Show Me Love here tonight.
Oh, excellent.
Again, it's a good song, and you can do anything with a good song.
You actually said that you think in Sweden you have a different approach to melody. Mm-hmm. Can you put your finger on what it is?
I don't know if it's different, but I think we definitely, consider good melody to be an important thing. And I mean, I'm not saying that other people don't, but it's like that's what the obsession is, I think, for a lot of Swedish artists and musicians. And there's a lot of amazing songwriters, but I think it has to do with ABBA. I think it has to do with socialism in a sense, because there's lots of money put into culture, and kids, get to play instruments early, and also now there's just a lot of people who are just, even Peter, Björn and John, or like things you would consider to be more indie, are very melody focused, and I know, even there's like this group of people, whether it's Björn from Peter, Björn and John, or Klaus, or Max Martin, like they all know each other, and when we get together, it's always like this song I wrote, and they're all bragging, and it's never about some fat drum sound. It's always about the best melody. They're really silly, but it's good. I'm obsessed with a good melody. I love that.
Okay. So I'm stuck imagining parties where Max Martin is talking to Peter and Jen.
Well, it happens. Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Very nice. Well, thanks so much for
Thank
giving
you.
us some of your time.
Thanks.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having
me.
me.
Good luck tonight.
Thanks.